There is smoke. Fuck me.
Tell me your indoor cat won't survive in the wild without telling me.
Oh well. The reason you came to Verona Beach doesn't particularly matter.
I came here to smooch. Came here to kill monsters and smooch people, and I'm all out of monsters. That is... No, Parker, stop that. There is smoke. Fuck me.
Tell me your indoor cat won't survive in the wild without telling me.
Oh well. The reason you came to Verona Beach doesn't particularly matter.
I came here to smooch. Came here to kill monsters and smooch people, and I'm all out of monsters. That is... No, Parker, stop that. There is smoke. Fuck me.
Tell me your indoor cat won't survive in the wild without telling me.
Oh well. The reason you came to Verona Beach doesn't particularly matter.
I came here to smooch. Came here to kill monsters and smooch people, and I'm all out of monsters. That is... No, Parker, stop that. There is smoke. Fuck me.
Tell me your indoor cat won't survive in the wild without telling me.
Oh well. The reason you came to Verona Beach doesn't particularly matter.
I came here to smooch. Came here to kill monsters and smooch people, and I'm all out of monsters. That is... No, Parker, stop that. There is smoke. Fuck me.
Tell me your indoor cat won't survive in the wild without telling me.
Oh well. The reason you came to Verona Beach doesn't particularly matter.
I came here to smooch. Came here to kill monsters and smooch people, and I'm all out of monsters. That is... No, Parker, stop that. There is smoke. Fuck me.
Tell me your indoor cat won't survive in the wild without telling me.
Oh well. The reason you came to Verona Beach doesn't particularly matter.
I came here to smooch. Came here to kill monsters and smooch people, and I'm all out of monsters. That is... No, Parker, stop that. There is smoke. Fuck me.
Tell me your indoor cat won't survive in the wild without telling me.
Oh well. The reason you came to Verona Beach doesn't particularly matter.
I came here to smooch. Came here to kill monsters and smooch people, and I'm all out of monsters. That is... No, Parker, stop that. There is smoke. Fuck me.
Tell me your indoor cat won't survive in the wild without telling me.
Oh well. The reason you came to Verona Beach doesn't particularly matter.
I came here to smooch. Came here to kill monsters and smooch people, and I'm all out of monsters. That is... No, Parker, stop that. There is smoke. Alright, I think we're good. I think we're okay. I don't know at this point. Hello, welcome. We actually returned. I feel like it's been a minute. And it's just, I don't know. But yay, thank you for being here for a whole year, BK, and thank you, Jem, wherever the hell you are right now. Possibly still working, knowing you, poor soul. Jem watches the VOD later. Oh my god. We're gonna get back to this game. Because I'm very curious to where the hell this is going. I won't lie. But I'm just it's been on my brain, and that's the problem. If a game stays on my brain, I have to finish it. I have to do something about it. I won't necessarily play through for every option, like every person option, but we gotta do something about this shit. So, yeah. We're gonna dive back in and see what the fuck is even happening in this. I don't actually remember what's happening in this game either. Spoilers. I don't know. I feel like nobody should be surprised by this fact, though. Because it's me. But yeah. Anyways, let's... There we go. We'll get there. We'll get there. Come on. Load the game. Oh my god. I clearly started my whole issue of, like... I clearly started my trust issues with what decisions I was making in this game. And clearly started doing my multiple saves tactic. Excellent. Okay. 3, evidence. What? What do you mean? I don't know. Come on. Select this, please. Okay. We're at the tavern, I guess. I really don't remember what's happened. All I know... Okay, so in this game, all that I know is we are somebody who hunts supernatural people. Hi! Hey, Brandon. How's it going? How we doing? Yeah, Jem has gifted a lot of subs at this point. I adore that man. How's it going? How we doing? How we feeling? Welcome to whatever the fuck this game is, because I don't remember. Like, I do, but I also don't. But I think that's only because I keep calling it Sexy Murder Mystery. And so... Very nice. Very nice. Yum. What's for dinner? Now, it has been 30 seconds, and Parker started talking about food. You know where this is going. It is Sexy Murder Mystery. That is really what this game is. Oh, I love tater tots. Listen. I love potatoes in, like, every form, but tater tots are, like, they're so good. Also, loaded tater tots? What? I'm here. I love this. I know. We've never talked food on this channel, especially not within, like, the first 30 minutes of a stream. We never derail it to go to that. Never. Yeah, right? I'm super in it. I'm super here for it. Yeah, so Sexy Murder Mystery. We got pulled to this town called Lunaris, which is really cute. To solve the mystery of why other hunters are getting murdered. They're getting unalived. That's it. There's a lot of people with some very deep B's in their costumes. I think it's up to us to figure out where those deep B's lead. That is 100% what the point of this game is, right? Right? Sure, totally. Oh, Parker, what am I doing? What am I doing with myself at this point? Okay, so there's a bunch of different people. We'll remember who they all are. I just remember I don't trust the one that doesn't have a deep V. I don't know what that says about me. If you don't dress slutty, I don't trust you. In a corner of the room, Alucard stumbles to his feet. The chair he's been sitting on almost toppling over. He catches it and sets it right, then grimaces briefly before stalking over to me. This is the werewolf buddy, right? It's easy to see the hunch of his shoulders and the stiffness of his posture for a moment. For a moment, I wonder if he's hurt somehow, but as he comes closer, he seems more likely he's only wary, perhaps? Not unusual, but with the commotion last night. Oh, yeah! I was on a date, and then somebody got murked in the woods. It's a good time. Everything's going fine. Everything is fine in this game. Just a lot of murder. And we had to fight somebody. That was a time. I don't need supernatural senses to know that this is going to be another pebble on the mountain of mysteries. Yep, there's a lot of mysteries here. He looks a mess. What has he been doing? Rolling around on the forest floor? You know, what if he was? It's fine. Let him do what he wants.
I need to speak with you.
I feel like you're not normally this formal, sir. Also, I kind of love that cape thing. That's really cute. Where's the deep V, though? I feel like we're hiding it. Should I not trust you anymore? He doesn't sound like the aloof, cocky, half-lycan I've come to know. He speaks forcefully, and there's a tremor in his voice that's hard to miss. What's wrong? Frown deepens. Instead of explaining himself, Alcar holds out his hand and uncurls his fingers, revealing a crumpled ball of fabric. For a moment, I stare at him and at the thing he's holding without comprehension. Alcar stares back, his expression telling me he thinks I'm an idiot for not getting it. Listen, we're slow. It's fine, okay? Just, like, give us a little something to go off of here. But then I realize a distinctive purple in the dirt and the crushed blood, and my stomach drops. A hunter's sash. Ooh. Okay, no, then we are a fucking idiot for not realizing that. I haven't played this game in, like, a month. I don't know what you want from me. Maybe it's more like 2 weeks. I don't know. Time is weird. How is it December this week? Can somebody please answer me that? Because I am very confused. Or what's left of it. The thing is in a sorry state. Its original color almost indistinguishable under the grime. Carefully, I reach out to take it from him for a closer inspection. He looks down.
It doesn't belong to the hunter that was killed last night. It doesn't belong to any of them. It's not right. The smell.
Okie dokie. I stare at him in disbelief, shaking my head as I feel the gritty fabric between my fingers. Then, who does it belong to? Alcar shrugs half-heartedly. In the tavern's uncertain light, his face is drawn, his eyes sunken. Exhausted, I realize. I think we all are. I'm pretty sure that's the general mood of this entire town, is just absolutely exhausted. But his tail still flicks back and forth, back and forth. Impatience or agitation? Hard to tell with him. All I know is Alcar is telling the truth, if for no other reason than because he's too worn out for a deception. I tried, but I couldn't tell. I searched all night with Finn's clan, but we came up short. He looks over his shoulder, checking to ensure we don't have company.
I have to be careful. I can't be seen with such things. They'll...
Oh yeah, because they tend to hunt you instead. Sharp exhale and he admits defeat. Shoulders drooping, ears flat against his head. Oh, he's got 2 pairs of ears too, because he's got the wolfy ears and then the ones on the side of his head still. I don't know how that works. There's as much bitter resentment in his voice as there is silk.
They'll make me pay for my generosity with my own blood. Again.
Who? Who gonna do that? The certainty with which he says it makes my stomach drop almost as much as his grim resignation. Ah yes, welcome to Parker Plays a Dating Sim, in which case all options must remain on the table. It's the only way we know how to be friends. I raise an eyebrow at him even as I carefully pocket the piece of evidence. I haven't forgotten the brief conversation with Finn in the graveyard about the strange-smelling blood. This feels like a vague but worthwhile puzzle piece. And despite himself, Alcar delivered it to me, a stranger and a hunter at that. Probably precisely because I'm a stranger. Fuck knows, he probably doesn't trust any of my colleagues in this town. Still, it's got me touched. Don't worry, Alcar, I won't mention you. And even if they do try to give you trouble for it, they'll have to get through me first. Alcar's jaw drops. He stares at me like I just said something outlandish before the moment passes and he takes a step back, a bark of laugh bubbling out of him. Oh, that's rich. I glare at him and he grins right back with not an ounce of humility. Richer than you, that's for sure. What are you, 12? Yes, you know what? Right on your level then, right? Okay, now we're just gonna say us this boy. The grin widens, canines bared sharp and large in genuine amusement. Alcar surveys me for a moment, his arms crossed, but there is something else in his gaze now. After a moment, he laughs again, but averts his eyes. I don't miss that. Nor do I miss the blush. Oh, look at the boy. Oh, he's going all red in the face. Nor the fact that he can't seem to stop grinning. I feel like that's not a grin? I'm gonna respectfully disagree with you, game. In the face that he's making right now.
Fucking riot, Hunter.
Yeah, there we go. That's more accurate. Seems your type. He rolls his eyes, looking none too upset. He leans closer, suddenly lowering his voice despite the empty tavern.
I don't know how much or how little you've decided to trust the Pomps in that workplace of yours. And I said all that shit about not trusting anyone. But just listen to me this once. Take that to Ezra, not your superior.
Yeah, honestly, I don't trust the people I work for, so we're good with that plan. He regards me with beseeching intensity, eyes flickering across my face like he's looking for some sort of gift, something he can trust. I don't know if I can give it to him. Alcar's concerned for his own well-being. I understand this. This is different. I don't really give a shit. Fuck the police. We are here to, like... Fuck it. I don't trust those mofos I work for. Yet I have no desire to bother Harry this morning, not after last night, not over an inconclusive scrap of something that smells strange. I guess it's another mystery altogether. Yeah, listen, Gus can calm the fuck down. So... oh, man, tell me how you really feel about these characters, Parker. Ezra does have a wonderful little shop full of witchy magic. In a town this small, I can only surmise that he'd be the one with the most tools at his disposal to suss out an analysis for something like this. Does make sense to go to him, which is all well and good, because Alcar is beginning to look downright fidgety. Alright, I'll go to Ezra with this. Alcar stares at me for a second longer, like he doesn't know if I was being honest. Eventually, however, his shoulders relax and he takes a step back.
Then my job's done. Hope you don't mind me quitting this place. The tavern's no fun when there's nobody here to annoy.
I mean, fair. He drops into a mocking, half-assed bow. There we go. Sorry, my brain stopped. His tail swishing, and then all but squeezes himself out the door right past me before I can so much as frown. I stare where Alcar had already vanished, and I wonder for a moment if I should chase him down. He's no hunter, but I have a feeling, not entirely natural, that the thing out there isn't interested in lichens, witches, demons, or vampires. It's nothing to do with the killing pattern. It's literally the fact that they're after hunters. It's fine, and they're trying to probably pin the blame on the creatures. Durr. Sighing, I tuck my coat a little tighter around myself and reluctantly make to follow his path. Breakfast will have to wait. Oh, is that what time of day it is? Clearly no idea. Oh, Ezra, I've shown up for breakfast. Wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey, s'il vous plaît. The shop is empty when I arrive, that comforting tinkle of bell that sits above the door welcoming me. I hope it's not actually empty because, like, otherwise this feels like breaking and entering. Ezra is nowhere to be seen, but I do spot a small white cat curled up at the foot of the shop counter. Curious creature, one that gives off the same soothing magical aura as her assumed owner. Is the cat Ezra? Are we finally figuring out what's up with Ezra? Is this what's up with Ezra? The purple curtain that separates the shop and living quarter twitches, and Ezra emerges clutching a cup of steaming tea. Never mind.
I'm so relieved to see that you're okay.
Thanks, friend. The cat's ears twitch at the sound of his voice, and she stretches, sauntering over to him, parading herself between his legs. I thought this was another, like, the cat cafe game all over again. I was like, oh my god, if everybody can secretly turn into cats. Man. He ignores her, moving to place his tea upon the counter. There we go. I heard that you had to depart the festival quite abruptly. We were all worried. Oh, were you now? I nod politely, offering him a clipped smile. I did, unfortunately. I hope you've had enough rest. You look exhausted. Listen, that is the mood of this town. We are constantly tired. Deal with it. Bags under my eyes are now an accessory. Not that I'm surprised after what I assume was an incredibly late evening. You're very sweet, dear. Would you like some tea? Yes. And breakfast. Did you not hear wakey wakey eggs and bakey as I walked in your door? Feel like you should have. Sash feels heavy in my coat, and as much as I enjoy exchanging pleasantries with the witch, I'm here for a reason. I actually need your help with something quite urgent. So can we get the tea to go? You do? What is it? Both the cat and Ezra watch me intently as I retrieve the sash, the violet-bloodied fabric unfurling as I hold it up. The cat hisses, her hackles raised as she darts into the back room. That's a really distinct reaction from a kitten. That paired with the look on Ezra's face unnerves me, and I sigh heavily, exasperated as he rushes past me to lock the front door. Wow! Deadbolt and all. Okie dokie. I see how this is going. He faces the door, his palms splayed flat upon the window pane. It grows a pleasant shade of blue as he whispers what I assume to be a ward incantation before he turns to join me. Though we're quite clearly alone, his voice is tactfully quiet.
Where exactly did you get that?
Spoilers. The words rush out of him and his aura is panicked, so much so that I begin to feel a terrible sense of unease washing over me. Ezra is the one person I truly had no hesitation about trusting from the start. Someone I thought I could rely on, but find myself questioning his intentions. Why aren't we questioning everybody's intentions? Come on. Could he possibly already know who this belongs to, and if so, how? Alcar, why are we outing Alcar? Oh, it's just not to our bosses, I think. Alcar found in the woods last night. He told me to bring it to you and only you. He runs a hand through his curls, and I notice it's shaking. Ezra, are you okay? A heavy exhale, and he closes his eyes, shaking his head before he meets my gaze.
I don't think you understand. This puts us all in danger.
Danger? I don't understand. It's just a sash. I simply hoped you could identify who it belonged to. You're aware of who its owner is, I assume, based on your reaction? I play dumb, disguising my interest in the fact that I know it's not the new victims. If he's hiding something, I'll find out. He moves around to the other side of the counter, nervously rearranging a pile of glowing crystals and pushing aside a dish filled with colorful gems. Listen, I want dishes full of colorful gems all around my place. That'd be great. Just an aesthetic. I have an inkling, yes. May I? He holds out his hand, to which I observed is now perfectly steady. I'm hesitant to part with the scrap after that little display of uncertainty, but he seems to have collected his thoughts. You sure? He nods, wiggling his fingers impatiently.
As sure as I'll ever be. Now, let us get this over with.
Okie dokie. As soon as the sash meets his palm, a bright emerald light emanates from his fingertips. The fabric hovers mid-air, suspended by vibrant whorls of magic. The movement of Ezra's hands is fluid like water as he commands his spell. I watch in awe as a mark forms before him, indecipherable shapes shifting and changing. His eyes are alight, brighter than ever, as the blood that coats the sash seems to pull away from the fabric suspended alongside his magic. It's really pretty, not gonna lie. It's beautiful, a truly impressive display, but I ensure I don't take my eyes off him for even a second. What is it gonna matter? What are you gonna do? His lips part and his brow deeply furrowed as he concentrates. He doesn't look pleased, and I'm not entirely sure exactly what he's doing, but whatever it is, I just hope it helps. This is the first solid piece of evidence I've managed to get my hands on. I refuse to rest until I get a name. Sharp inhale, Ezra closes his eyes tight. Magic dissipating, the sash falls and settles upon the wood. He drops his head, his knuckles tight as he grips the edge of the counter. I had a feeling. Ezra, working with me here. I need you to be honest. I need you to actually tell me what is going on here, my dude. Otherwise, we're in trouble. He looks scared, maybe even a little upset.
This is way bigger than me, but I can't in good conscience keep this from you.
Listen, I'm pretty sure all of this is way above all of our pay grades, and we're just getting used to it. Alex! 17 months. Hi. How are you? How's it going? Welcome to The Plot Thickens. I don't know what's going on. I still don't. Yay! There's that. 17 months, holy crap. That's a long time. It's a long time, friend. That's a long time. Why so long? Anyways, hi, how's it going? How you doing? How we feeling? How's life? I don't know what's up with me today. I haven't had coffee. So here's the weird thing. Have not had caffeine today. Do not know where energy is from since only 5 hours sleep. Do not understand. Body being weird. Giving up. Anyways. Holding on. I'm surprisingly good. And I'm gonna take it. So we're gonna run with it. Yeah, weirdly have energy today, despite the fact that, yeah, maybe slept 5 hours. Because my body decided that 4 a.m. was a grand time to wake up, and I was like, this is rude. This is very rude. But yeah, no, it's good. Things are fine. Except for this game, everything is apparently awful. I try to remain calm, and I am I truly am unsurprised that yet another person in this town has managed to refrain from divulging potentially valuable information. Listen, everybody's playing with their cards close to their chest at this point. The sash belongs to a girl named Aya Walker. He pushes away from the counter, putting distance between himself and the sash, eyeing it warily. And who just is Aya Walker?
I really shouldn't say anymore. I would hate for any harm to come to you because of me.
Listen. In for a penny, in for a pound. Let's go. Harm? Who would harm me over something as insignificant as a name? I'm growing increasingly more frustrated as the minutes pass by, and Ezra can tell. I know he's not stupid. If anything, he's too smart. I suppose he's just looking up for himself, but whatever knowledge he's retaining is clearly valuable, and I must know. Think back to what Omen said only a few nights ago, about Finn visiting less, but Ezra being tired all the time. Is this all connected somehow? And as per usual, we're going with the hearts. The way he stares at the sash and the way all the color drains from his freckled cheeks has my heart aching. Ezra, it's okay. I'll never let anything happen to you.
I worry about you. I know that sounds foolish, but I care for you. I will
That's
not
a mistake.
be responsible for you getting hurt.
Still a mistake, my friend. He wraps his arms around his waist, almost as if trying to hold himself together. I reach out with a tentative hand and he steps forward. Without hesitation, I wrap my arms around him. Our bodies seamed from shoulder to waist to hip. He buries his face in the crook of my neck, his hands splayed upon my back. His fingers curl tightly in my clothing. I hold him until I'm sure he's not going to fall apart, until I know he feels safe. So a very long time. Got it. Thank you. Reluctantly part, and I register the way his cheeks have darkened. We're just making everybody blush today, okay? Apparently, that is, again, sexy murder mystery game. Anytime. Ezra eventually shifts his weight, his breathing steadier than it had been, and clears his throat.
Aya was a general. She was relatively new in town after being transferred here and was arrested quite suddenly. No one outside of the enforcers knows why. Some dirty little secret.
Hi, Katsy. Also, you're not wrong, my friend. The shirt needs more V. It's not a deep enough V. I am mildly disappointed. Hunters, especially of a general's rank, are rarely thrown into dungeons for minor transgressions. We're too valuable, so what did she do? Apparently, I have no idea. There's so much to pay attention to. I don't know what to do with this information. A young general being thrown to the dungeons is alarming, especially when there's no apparent reason. Treason, murder, unlawful torture, these are all things I know hunters have been imprisoned for, but never without the public having full knowledge. Such events are not usually quiet ones. We have families and friends, we save lives. There must be something somewhere that tells me why she was stripped of her title and thrown in a cell. I take the sash from the counter and tuck it back inside my coat. Ezra keeps a close eye on the movement as if it may jump out and bite him. Who is her enforcer? Gus? Is it Gus Gus? Is there a relation to Gus Gus here? Ha! Called it. Listen. Fucking Gus Gus. Don't know what to do with that one. No, I knew they were trouble. Of course, because I don't have enough on my plate already. He quickly scrambles to add to his statement, clearly not wanting me to think ill of August.
Only in the interim while her transfer was processed. She and Piper hit it off quite quickly, but she was gone before she had a chance to thrive.
Weird. I take a step towards the door and Ezra nervously follows. Where are you going? He looks like he wants to reach out and stop me, but he thinks better of it. Gonna clear my head before... I don't know. I turn to the locks, then reach for the handle, watching his hands shimmer and fade as he reluctantly waves his hands. Something begs at me to pause. Tell me, why are you so afraid?
I'm scared to learn the truth. I've only ever wanted to find somewhere to settle, somewhere quiet and away from the things that gave me nightmares. I found that here.
Oh.
I found love, family, and yet...
I'm sorry, am I ruining your town? Am I ruining this? Is this becoming a problem? I'm so sorry. Nothing lasts forever? He shakes his head.
Everything crumbles eventually. That's why I'm afraid. I just want a normal life.
We stared at each other down for a lingering moment, and I truly feel sorry for him, for everyone in this town. I assume that associating yourself with creatures doesn't grant you much peace. It does not. I drop my head, my mind swimming. People are dying and being thrown in dungeons. I've got your back, Ezra, just as long as you have mine. Thank you. Just stay safe. We need you. This feels like a bad life choice. Just putting that out there. Chill air hits me as soon as I open the door of Ezra's shop and step outside. It hisses in my ears, piercing through my layers like it wants to chase me back indoors. And listen, let's just go back indoors, have some hot cocoa, some breakfast, because apparently we like to starve ourselves. I can think of no other alternative more enticing, but my work is done here and I need to move on. Not a moment less well-timed, it seems, as I close the door and immediately notice a familiar face skulking about just out of my vision until now. Omen startles when he realizes that I've spotted him. He takes a full step away from me, one hand half raised, his tail lashing like a snake. For reasons I can't even begin to fathom, there's a genuine fear on his face. Omen. Speak of the devil. First thought to cross my mind is that he's suspiciously distraught. Second is that it pains me to see him that way. Maybe distraction is in order. I try to catch Omen's eye and wink at him. Speak of the devil, I was wondering where you were. Am I imagining that he stiffens at the words? It's hard to tell how stiff he already is. It lasts for only a second before his face turns red. Oh, sweetie, look at you. There you go, Catsy. This one has more V. Does that help you? Do you feel better? Hi, H-Dog. Yeah, you're still not banned. Congrats. So proud of you. So proud of you. I don't know why. I mean, you toe the line. Sometimes. Not often enough. It's fine. Oh, goodness. This is still too short for you, Catsy. What? You... Not wrong, H-Dog, not wrong. You are the line. That is accurate. Oh, all of you. Okay. His aura turns, it shifts, but doesn't change. Oh, Omen twists a strand of their hair around one finger and tugs at it, tail twitching most anxiously, adorably. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to upset you.
I wasn't upset, just surprised is all.
You sound snarky right now, my dear. He glanced at me again, very briefly, his brown eyes half hidden beneath long lashes. Omen swallows and that blush intensifies. But he is smiling, much to my delight. Tremendously, uncertainly, but he's smiling. After a moment, he deigns to meet my eyes. Clearing his throat, Omen folds his arms together and seems to make a conscious effort to relax.
Thank you for worrying about me. I promise I stayed out of trouble.
Are you sure about that? I'm really not convinced in this moment. I believe you. Not really. Omen blinks and smiles wider, his shoulders slinking in palpable relief. Okay, that's good to know. He looks at me intently, head tilted to one side. What about you? I heard there was some kind of trouble. I'm unhurt. Omen's eyes flicker to Ezra's door, expression dubious. I wasn't seeing him because I was hurt, don't worry. Oh, okay. A moment of slightly awkward silence passes before he continues. I'm looking for someone. Can I help you with that then? Because apparently I just don't know what I'm doing. He scans my face with eyes flickering red rather than the usual warm brown. I wait since there's little else I can say. Then something seems to resolve. Omen looks from me to Ezra's door, then takes a step back, his mouth tight.
She's probably not in there. I should get going. It's nice seeing you again.
What about... No, what are you doing? You can stop. Just stop. All right. We're going... This apparently is becoming a bilingual stream, and I don't think that's a good thing. My French is not good. He makes a turn away, and I don't know what moves me to act. Perhaps it's his aura, the way I suddenly sense it swell under his glamour and spot the wisps of flame trailing from his hair and the tip of his ears. Perhaps he's walking away, and I simply can't let him go right now. Perhaps I'm tired of one more fucking mystery in this town. Either way, I reach out and grab his wrist. Okay, good. Because, Christ almighty, there are too many mysteries in this. Nothing makes sense. Wait. And instantly regret it. Heat Hi? Well then. You got real hot. Heat scorches my hand, forcing me to withdraw with a small cry. Omen looks over his shoulder at me with glowing amber eyes, his lips drawn back in a half snarl. His still eerily human face is framed by a wreath of fire. My guts clench, twist, drop under the sudden glimpse of an immense blistering presence that sprang out of nowhere. My instincts scream at me in warning. Demon. Then Omen jerks back as though out of a trance, and everything extinguishes. I don't know how long we stand outside Ezra's shop with the space of a sword swing between us. Omen's arms are limp by his sides, making no move to defend himself. All he does is stare at me with huge eyes and palpable horror.
Sorry.
I force my mouth open to tell him it's all right. I've had worse, really, but I can really only pry my jaw apart. The words I can't force through. He's not waiting to hear them. He's stepping away. 1, then 2, then 3, and he turns around and flees. Can't move my legs to follow. By the time I get enough control of myself back, Omen's already long gone. So now what? In hindsight, I'm glad I couldn't follow him. It takes a tremendous effort for me to pry my stiff fingers from the comfort of my weapon. Well, this is going great. I've been sitting in my room at the Wolf waiting for the sun to set, waiting for darkness to fall so I can carry out my next move. No messenger had come to summon me to headquarters, neither had August come to bang down my door. I gathered the identification of the deceased hunter is taking a little longer than expected. Or, many dark things crossed my mind, but I pushed them away. I meant it when I said I'm tired of being pushed from pillar to post, kept in the dark. Enough is enough. If this town wants saving, then I'll do it on my own terms. We mean business, apparently. The door to August's office is thankfully unlocked, and I'm pleased to discover that it's empty. Ah, yes, good. A good old-fashioned just entering, I suppose, in this case. It's not quite a B&E. But time to steal shit? Time to steal shit. I'm sure that's what this is. The desk is in its usual disarray, papers and books haphazardly strewn across its surface. I take a deep breath and head straight for the filing cabinet I've seen August rummaging through so often, and I carefully open the drawers. Apparently, Piper has her own a whole portion dedicated to her reports, an impressive feat. After much rummaging, I eventually find Aya's papers stuffed at the very back of the bottom drawer. If I didn't know what I was looking for, they'd have easily gone unnoticed. It certainly looks like August has tried to hide them, which only increases my suspicion. I find her transfer papers, a glowing letter of recommendation from her previous enforcer. Her records are clean with no discrepancies, nothing but praise. I see the words kind and thoughtful repeated multiple times, and the only complaint, if you can call it that, is that her enforcer is that she was overly cautious. Then I find it. Her discharge papers. An obnoxious red treason stamped across the front page. In the blink... What the hell? What happened to the office? In the blink of an eye, the whole office lights up and the door loudly slams against the wall. Shit, I'm caught. Hi, Gus. What are you doing? I am doing some late night reading. I watch magic coat every surface, flowing and curling over the walls, floor, furniture. It even creeps over their clothing and their skin, too. They stare at me wide-eyed, vivid violets swallowing the once ice blue of their irises, and though I should be concerned that I've been caught, I'm kind of distracted. August, it's not what it looks like. It's totally what it looks like. The magic that glimmers upon their clothing disappears as their eyes lose that otherworldly glow, but the room remains alight. They look at the bundle of papers that I hold tightly in my hand, a frown furrowing their brow.
I ask that you put those back, Hunter.
Their words are eerily calm, and they seem more concerned than annoyed. Am I gonna get in trouble? What happened to her? They close the door, clicking the lock, and everybody in the locks in this place, and checking the handle before they walk towards me. As poised and perfect as ever, they stare me down.
No, not even Piper found those. I hate to admit that I'm impressed.
As you should be. August. They unfurled their fingers in a silencing gesture, and I pause. August is still my superior officer, and I am nothing if not respectful. Well, that feels like a choice.
I do not wish for Piper to be demoted, nor do I wish for you to meet the same fate, but I appear to be having a case of deja vu. But, you know, sometimes the hand that feeds is a forceful one.
What do you mean by that? I'm perplexed. I expected a much harsher conversation. August isn't exactly known for their calm temperament, and this is startlingly out of character. Aren't you going to admonish me? With a sly smile, they shake their head. No, Parker, I am not.
I believe in you, strangely. I believe that you're a bright light at the end of a very, very dark tunnel for this town.
Mm-hmm.
And I have been questioning things lately.
You don't say. The look that crossed their face breaks my heart. It's one of shame. I long to comfort them, but these papers weigh heavy in my hands. August, please. I can't take any more dishonesty. I'm here to help. I want nothing more than for all of the pain to stop. They drop their gaze, apparently unable to look at me. I'm here for you. Aww. Apparently today's game is just make them blush. Make everybody blush. I do not deserve it. I got myself in this mess by what? By what? Did you wanna continue with that? Continue with that train of thought?
I do not deserve it.
I cross the room, the papers discarded, and I stand face to face with them. Help me, August. Help me, August, you're my only hope. I did hydrate myself like 2 seconds ago. Everybody else also hydrate. Play along here. The markings brighten, thrumming in time with what I assume is August's hammering pulse. People are terrified, and I think you are too. What did this girl do to deserve to be forgotten?
If I told you that I do not know, would you believe me?
Not really. I run my thumb again along the back of their hand. I look deep into those eyes. Eyes that seem to hold the universe. This is where it starts feeling real smutty. I would.
Then you must be a fool.
Yeah, that's why I said I wouldn't fucking trust him. I laugh quietly, reaching up to the curve of their jaw, my free hand. They lean into my touch as if they've craved it for an eternity. Listen, are you also you're a touch-deprived bastard at this point? Yes, probably. Then a fool I'll be. Work with me here, August. We can help each other fix this together. Something in my gut tells me this is really all connected, and this doesn't exactly comfort me. The very institution that I work for, that I've dedicated my life to. I moved to pull the sash and let it unfurl. Fuck, I thought we were going to show this to these guys. We were not supposed to show this to the boss man. Boss person. Who does this belong to? Walker. Their expression is unchanging. I see, it's bloodied. Yes, thank you for observing that. They carefully lay it across their palm, studying it intently. Heavily and torn to shreds, whatever happened, she put up a fight. They frown, their lips purse. Something is clearly perplexing them.
She was not reported to be injured upon her arrest. That much I do know. Something like that wouldn't be omitted. Interesting.
I throw them a sorry stare, wondering how they could be still so sure of things. You're positive the blood is hers. I want to tell them I know, but I can't implicate Ezra or Alcar. They're both scared. Probably of you. Probably of Harry. I still think it's Harry. I'm sure, and I'm going to need you to trust me on that. Strangely, they don't question it, because somehow they trust me all of a sudden. Oh, no, not much. Mostly broke into an office, found some papers, and then got caught by Gus Gus, who is oddly trusting today. Don't know what's gotten into them. She was yours, August. Don't you want to know what happened to her? I want to see her, to visit the dungeons. They glance at the window. Another heavy snowfall coats the icy street outside.
I think you need to take a seat. I have a few confessions.
Let's go. I can hear the rush of blood pounding in my skull as I take a seat, my heart trying to escape the restrictive cage of my ribs as I stare my enforcer down. I know, right? Apparently now we're admitting to something too. We've got confessions. August's fingers are visibly trembling. All the color is drained from their skin. I'm fearful that they might faint. Have you eaten today? I haven't. We should do this over breakfast. They draw in a shuddering breath and reach for one of the drawers in their desk, pulling out a vial that glows of vivid lavender. Are we doing drugs? I feel like we're not supposed to be doing drugs. I recognize them from the very first time I met them in Ezra's shop, which strangely feels like forever ago. Oh. The way they demanded it from him with a desperation that I haven't seen in them since, but it struck me nonetheless. At first, I think they might pop the cork and swallow it whole, their eyes hungry as they shake it, watching the viscous liquid swirl and brighten. They don't, though. Instead, they place it in the middle of the desk. They proceed to sit on their hands, and I gather that it's a precautionary measure to prevent themselves from indulging. What is this? They clear their throat, unable to meet my gaze, my concerned gaze. This is what I've been reduced to. Could you be more specific? Like, I know. Feel like it's not what I was prepared for. They nod and reach the vial. They watch intently, their throat bobbing as they swallow quickly. The room flares to life as I pop the cork. August shifts in their seat. It smells fragrant, almost citrusy. It's certainly not as unpleasant as I anticipated.
It is not harmful if used as intended. Ezra would never... could never create such things. He is not interested in enabling me, but I may have pressured him.
What did you do?
I may have taken advantage of it, hence the nature in which my magic has been manifesting lately. Just another thing to add to the long list of regrets I seem to have accrued lately.
Gus. I look around the room, now understanding how such a display is possible. What does it do exactly? I know. Yeah, no. Well, you shouldn't do that. You don't do that to your dealer here. Never blackmail the apothecary. Absolutely not. That is 100% how you die. You can feel a crackle in the air, an obvious shift in tension.
My magic draws from the mind, and when using it often I tend to grow weary faster than most. It's a weakness I'm not proud of, and I cannot be viewed to be weak when in such a position in this agency.
Gus, your defense is making me fall asleep. They gesture towards the vial, and I lay it back upon the desk. Therefore, this affords me the ability to replenish my mana to put myself to use whenever required. Psionic abilities such as my own are rare, and so I am required quite often. There are quite obviously some side effects, though. Your health is more important than your notoriety, August. Not according to August. He seemed taken aback by that statement, maybe even a little embarrassed. Yes, and I see that now.
I'm a little blinded by the desire to impress. The harder I look, the more I realize that I might be pushing myself to the limit for a broken cause.
Okay, so remember that time I said I didn't have coffee today? I think we're finally seeing what the, lasting impact is. I was doing so good. I didn't need coffee. Actually, okay, so the truth is I totally forgot to make coffee. I sat down. I was like, oh, yeah, no, I'll get up in 2 minutes and I'll go make coffee. Guess what didn't happen? So don't ask how I'm surviving right now. I blanch at that. Those words coming from August's mouth seem unreal. It's a casually honest statement, painfully honest even, and certainly not something that I could even imagine the enforcer I met just a week ago daring to utter.
Many questionable things have happened right under my nose, and I was too blinded by my determination to succeed to see.
Aya, Piper, the murders. We need to go back to the start. Examine the root. Harry. The root being the agency, the enforcers. With a small nod, they lift their eye. If I call the end of this, if I have accurately done this, I'm going to laugh. Because I called it in the very first episode when we first met Harry, because I didn't trust him because he didn't have a deep V. Sympathize, I forgot to buy coffee in the last grocery trip. Oh no. That's brutal. That's no bueno. I haven't even had a headache today. That's the weird thing. There's been no headache. I've been fairly okay. It's weird. I'm very confused. So. Yes, the enforcers. Then why bring me here? That I cannot answer. I wish I could. Ask Radaya. They rest their elbows upon their desks, steepling their fingers. There's not much to tell, really. She transferred here only a few months ago. We'd barely become acquainted when she was arrested. Though Piper took a liking to her. Until a week. No, see, I normally will get a headache after 2 days. If I don't have coffee. Maybe even 1. Depends on what else is going on, how much water I've had. Small smile crosses their lips. They worked well together, and I finally got to catch up on the ridiculous amount of paperwork I'd accrued during my time spent in the field with Piper. Why were you in the field?
Well, things have been a little busier than usual here in Lunaris lately. Creature activity has been at an all-time high these past few years, and Piper and I made an unstoppable team.
Yeah, I have caffeine in my blood at this point. It's what you get for being a barista for 6.5 years. It's just in you. And so it thus needs to be constantly replenished. Yeah. It's not the best way to live, but listen, it's a living. It's a living. Fine. It's a lie. And normally I can get by if I have, like, tea, but I didn't even make tea today. That's the weird thing, and I'm still doing just fine. I'm very worried about myself, although I might make tea later. Listen. Story of my life. It's fine. We're doing fine. Everything's just fine. Don't even know what you're talking about. Well, things have been a bit busier than usual here in Lunaris lately. Creature activity has been an all-time high. Oh, wait, no. May not. We know this. They said this. I contemplate that for a moment. For any peak in activity that is unusual, and for any peak in activities is usually for a reason. Oh my god. Not able to read anymore. It's been worse the past few years. Not always this bad. They shake their head. Not always, but almost seems normal now. Make a mental note to remember this. We will remember this. So her arrest. One day she was just gone, no explanation. It was reported that she went on an unsanctioned hunt. I wasn't aware, neither was Piper. We never saw her again. I reach for the papers that sit upon the desk between us. Harry's signature is clear as day. Yep, see? Look. Harold. I don't know if that's his actual name, but we're going to call him Harold now. You didn't question it. An uncomfortable shift, a squirm almost. I did not. You don't question Harry. He's giving me no reason to. I will question Harold if I damn well so choose. I watch them carefully, the furrow in their brow deepening as they quite clearly second-guess their own statement. Something isn't right here. An Aya's situation feels too convenient to me. Don't you agree? Sharp inhale, they sit back in their chair. A little of their tension seems to melt away, but the sadness still lingers. I do. You mentioned that you didn't want Piper to be demoted, so what happened? Their gaze flickers to the side, staring out of the window at the snowy street. After Aya's arrest, Piper became unsettled, rightfully so, now that I look back.
She wouldn't stop rambling about a theory she had about the agency. Corruption, slander, all nonsense to me at the time. She was caught trying to break into the dungeons and rifling through my files. Just like you were this evening.
That's why I like Piper. We both thieves. I clear my throat, offering them an apologetic grin. I was too infuriated to truly think straight, and before I got the chance to defuse the situation, Harry caught wind. I regret the way I dealt with it. Piper was a good friend before this mess began. Ooh. I should have helped her. I let her down. Yeah, you kind of did, my friend. I, cannot sit still. Clearly. Their gaze meets mine. They somehow seem more concerned for me than they are for themselves, which seems to be the running theme here. You and Piper, you were friends. Hard to believe now, I know. But yes, we were close enough for her to convince me to arm wrestle her. They absentmindedly rub their elbow as if they're nursing an old injury. Don't do that, ever. Good to know. The way they light up when they talk about such memories doesn't go unnoticed, and I feel a pang of sorrow for their lost friendship. They both seem like they could do with such company in their lives, and now I understand why they're being noted as being so prolific as a team. Should speak to her and clear the air. The look they throw me is less than convincing.
Piper is a proud person. She's been wronged by someone she trusted, and she does not trust freely. I wouldn't expect her to forgive me without much begging, but I shall try.
Yeah, so beg. Jeez. I truly valued our friendship, and I have been cruel to her in my mission to please Harry. Harold is the worst. August pushes away from the desk, still swiping the still glowing vial as they stand. They cradle it gently in their palm before it's shoved firmly into the drawer where they came. What next? What can we do? I think you should speak to Piper. She might know more than me, especially after her snooping. I stand too, my touch lingering upon those discharge papers. I want to go in the dungeons. I want to go see her. They avert their gaze, cheeks rosy, their frustration evident.
I cannot authorize that. Not when I know it would put your position in jeopardy.
Okay, so good old-fashioned breaking and entering, and we just pretend like we never had this conversation? They thoughtlessly slide their hand across the back of the chair, cutting me a sympathetic stare. Can't have a repeat of what happened with Piker. Piper. I mixed Piper and Parker, and that became Piker. Always go with the hearts! Their concern is all etched all over their face, and it makes my heart hurt. We are going all romance all the time. Maybe. I realize they truly do care for me. Really? We sure about that? The guilt from what happened to Piper obviously eats at them, and maybe our added closeness makes it a little bit more personal to them. Maybe. August, I swear to you that nothing will happen to me. I know what I'm doing. You seem very sure of that, of yourself. I mean, yes. Have you met me? It's only been a week, but still. Can't lose you two. It's different than it was with Piper. Wait, I'm sorry. It's what? They avert their gaze, worrying their bottom lip, worrying their bottom lip between their teeth. What? It's not words. We have no idea what we're doing. We have none whatsoever. Absolutely zero. So we are giving this human a very false sense of security about this. This is a point-blank lie. When they look back at me, they take a step forward, reaching for my hand.
Care for you. And that may sound idiotic. I know we've only been acquainted for a mere week, but...
Listen, that is a life choice you will come to regret. However, I squeeze their fingers where they lazily twine with my own, almost as if August is unsure if their affection will be returned. I feel it too. I feel it for half the town, though. I'm gonna have to be honest with you. We're good. We're doing great. Well, I'm sure you can understand my predicament here. I nod because I do understand I had to see August punished for any of my actions. I do, but I need you to just trust me on this one. I won't do anything to get either of us in trouble or killed. That last one being very important. Their hand falls simply lit from my own, their gaze nervously flickering towards the very locked door. I do trust you. I just don't trust anyone else. You sound like me on the road. I trust me as a driver. I don't trust other drivers. Whatever you have in mind, be careful. I smile because I know exactly what I need to do and who I need to help me do it. They watch me intently, lips quirking into a small smile as they watch my face light up. You have a plan, don't you? I do, but I'm not gonna tell you because otherwise you're... Yeah. Otherwise you're not an accomplice, and I'm not gonna have that happen. You may not approve, but we have a few allies that probably know the dungeons better than any hunter or enforcer ever could. The dramatic and sudden roll of their eyes tells me they know exactly who I'm talking about. I do not. You want to enlist a bunch of vampires to help us break into the enforcement dungeons? Yes, yes we do. Let's go. Not a bunch, just the one. Finn has lived in this town longer than literally anyone. Fair. Lived. He's as dead as a doornail. So just gonna walk into the dungeons, Casimir in tow, and hope to not get caught? Told you wouldn't like my plan. Ezra, Piper, even Elcar, they can all help too. Do I have your permission to proceed? A pregnant pause follows my questions, but eventually August meets my gaze once more. You have my permission. Yay! But please be cautious. I'm no wiser than you here, and I cannot protect you if something goes wrong. I'm not looking for you to protect me, bitch. I don't need no protection.
I came here to make something of myself. I was so desperate to move out of the shadows of my parents. I come from a family that held me to such high standards. Standards I could never dream of meeting, no matter how hard I tried.
Listen, it's normally a lot easier to ask for forgiveness than ask for permission, so which was definitely going to be the tactic I took. Their words grow terser as the seconds pass, unraveling gradually.
I don't want this to be my legacy. I want to make the world a better place, not a scarier one.
Fair. Fair enough. I gather that August has suffered through much frustration and life has weathered them to the bone. They quickly gather themselves. Won't let you down. I don't doubt that, actually. Whee! Back to my bedroom. Can I finally get breakfast? Because I feel like we've been trying to get breakfast the entire day. I stay up pondering the fact that we still haven't been given the name of the latest victim, and I wonder if Harry is keeping it from me for yes! Harry is sus! Harold is sus! From my conversation with August, everything feels wrong. Quick, sharp pain rises in my temples. I feel its familiar presence lurking. Despite that, it would appear that no voices will visit me tonight. Yay! No more voices! Apparently, we just didn't eat yesterday. I feel like that was not the best choice in our lives. Because apparently nothing is sacred in this town. I managed to coax Piper's address out of Edna with little persuasion. I head across the street, unsurprised that she lives so close to the tavern and as far away from headquarters as possible. Listen, yes, the standards are breakfast in bed. If you can meet those standards, done. Let's go. It's a great standard. That's where the bar is. Her house is small but appears to have character, much like its owner. I want to see the house. And we knock. Damn! She looks really pretty out of armor, too. Sorry, we're good. I'm fine. Everything's fine! Fine. She's really pretty, though. She looks surprised to see me, but her expression quickly softens.
I wasn't expecting you. Especially because I assumed you had no bloody idea where I live. Are you okay?
Yeah. It'd be surprising what you can get out of people. A timid smile crosses my lips. I definitely don't think this is a conversation we had in the street. Listen, I know how y'all are. I knew. Can we talk? Oh, sorry, of course, come on in. Let's see the inside of this place. It's so cozy. Oh, she got such a cozy home. Her house is warm and inviting, the walls adorned with an abundance of gorgeous weaponry, and various plants, brightly colored pillows litter the room. Your home is beautiful. Thank you. I've been lucky, really. I know not all hunters catch a break like I have. Plus, real estate in this shithole is cheap. We share a laugh, but I can't help but feel a sense of urgency to discuss things with her. I decide now is not the time for pleasantries or stalling. Cutting straight to the chase is the only way. I have some news about Aya. Her eyes widen, flicking to the side away from me. Aya?
Please don't say what I think you're going to.
I pull the sash from inside my coat and present it to her, but I'm quick to reassure. This was found in the woods, but that doesn't mean she could still be alive, Piper. This has clearly been out there for a while. She reaches out and runs her hand over the ruined fabric, her fingers shaking. With a deep inhale, she withdraws, turning to sit upon the arm of her sofa. Why are you here? She looks so sad, like she's only thinking the worst. I don't blame her, and I can't imagine how frustrated she must feel with the hand she's been dealt. I wanted you to know that I spoke to August last night. They were quite honest with me about everything, really. Oh, were they, huh?
I suppose they told you why I was demoted. I acted without rational thought. I was so angry.
No, that seems very justified, my dear. I offer her a smile, trying to catch her gaze. I may or may not have been caught doing exactly as you did. Whoopsies. You didn't. I am the picture of perfection. It's fine. I broke into August Willenham's office and lived to tell a tale.
Fucking brilliant. You've got guts. I'll give you that.
I shrug, brushing it off. I'm grateful that the mood has shifted to something that feels a little lighter. I know, right? You know, August regrets how everything happened. They seemed wistful. I think they missed your friendship. She frowns deeply, fiddling with the edge of her tunic.
They hurt me. I think it'll take me a while to get over that.
Fair.
It wasn't even about the punishment. It was that they didn't believe me. You work with someone for all that time, but when it came down to it, they thought I'd gone mad. Why would I make up such a thing? Everyone jokes about us and our instincts, but they don't understand. When we feel something, we really feel it, you know?
I nod because I do know. Whatever lies within us that grants us our abilities is something we cannot shake or ignore. If we sense someone is in pain or they're scared, we feel it in kind. If we love fully. If we can feel something's off, it usually is. They employ us to do what we do for a reason. I wish they'd have a better understanding of what or how we feel. She scoffs a quiet laugh, rolling her eyes and offering me a small smile. If only.
If August wishes to make amends, I welcome their apology, but it will take me a while to trust them again. I was humiliated and betrayed by one of my only friends. They got some begging to do.
Don't worry, I told them to start begging. I already told them that would be the case. And that I'd like to see. Shit, me too. I'll get you a front row seat if it ever happens, alright? Deal. Now I have a proposition. Let's go break in! We're going to do this together. Come then. What's this proposition, dear General? We're going into the dungeons. You what? She bursts into laughter, her shoulders shaking. Then a pause as she registers that I might not actually be joking. Wait, you're serious? Can't help but laugh at her furious expression.
You're a real idiot, you know? Are you jealous of my shameful demotion or something? Being a major isn't that exciting.
It's because you got caught, my friend. That's the big mistake here. We will not get caught this time.
Why are you grinning like that?
I take her hand and she immediately tugs me closer. Because we're doing it together, so we'll be just fine.
You're so cheesy. I really don't know why I like you so much.
Fair. She shoves me away playfully, her eyes sparkling. So come on then, what's this plan? Still putting together the pieces. You inspired me though. Good to know some good comes out of my suffering, I suppose. Do you have any lips? Do you have any... I read that as lips. No, tips. We're fine. Do you have any tips, any kinks you'd encountered on your journey? Probably many. I know, right? Listen, we need the smoochies. Need to get the smoochies from the Piper. It's how this works. It's how these games work. And if I'm remembering, we were deprived of a smoochie from the vampire last game. And I'm no longer over that. The fact that I didn't even get to the door would indicate I failed pretty miserably, wouldn't you say? There are wards, there are guards. It's pretty impossible unless, you know Ezra, don't you? That witch is more than a pretty face. Speak to him. See if you can convince him to help. She's right. I've seen him use wards in his shop, and from what I've seen of his magic the other day. You're a genius. She shrugs as if that's the most obvious statement I could have made. Duh. When you're ready, you know I've got your back. Always. Back to Ezra! We're just like bouncing at this point. Upon entering the shop, I find chaos. Well, shit. I spot Ezra frantically gesturing at Omen, the demon's tail slightly coiled. I'm wary of approaching him after our little incident yesterday, instead choosing to observe from afar. Managed to catch Ezra's eye as he throws me a sympathetic look. He's stressed, his hands full of bandages and potions. He mutters something quick and sharp under his breath to Omen, who turns and stares at me with wide, sorry eyes as the witch disappears through his purple curtain. If I ask what's going on, will you give me an honest answer? Because I got questions. The question seems to catch him by surprise. He then looks away, his lips pursed. He doesn't seem to have forgotten his outburst with me yesterday or his abrupt departure. Good. It isn't my intention to trip him with a reminder, but just as well that he remembers. Did you bring someone in who was hurt? Brown eyes snap to me almost instantly, and Omen moves as though to step between me and the entrance to Ezra's back room. Then catches himself in the middle and forcibly drops his arms to his sides. He opens his mouth, stammers without speaking, and then his shoulders droop in defeat. A little spark that might have caught on the bandage rolls in his hand peters out.
Yes, but maybe you shouldn't see her right now. I mean...
Sorry, what? He licks his lips, a flick of his black tongue visible. Seems so eerily out of place on a face so painfully human in its distress.
At least let Ezra see to her first. He needs some space when he works his magic.
Who the hell's here? I haven't seen Omen this nervous before in the admittedly brief time we've known each other, and his fear sets me on. I believe we've known them for a week! There is no way in hell we'd know shit after a week. Like, the bar is on the floor! Anyways, we're fine. Carefully and deliberately so as to not spook him, yesterday's almost burn is still fresh in my mind, I step forward and put a hand on his arm, squeezing it gently. I'm sure our guests will be all right. Ezra's tending to them after all. Omen blinks at me, then smiles and leans into my touch, visibly relaxing. He's a beacon of warmth in the cold room. His power is wound tight to his core. I feel it under the glamour and the convincing illusion of fabric under my arm, but he won't let loose. Yeah, you know what? Fair. Yeah, that with the face. Well, yes, you're right. Whoever they are, despite my gentle prod, he still presses his lips together for a moment. I fear I've caused him to clamp down again, and he takes a deep breath and very gently shakes me off. Is it going to be Aya? Is Aya alive? I don't know. Another deep breath. Omen is steeling himself for something. I can see it. I decide to back off, giving him some space. He shoots me a glance, then hugs the items he's holding closer. When he speaks again, his voice is very soft. I have something I must tell you. I'm all ears. Omen smiles, though it's brief and weak and also quick to disappear like candlelight in a storm. His eyes lose focus as he begins to speak.
2 years ago, I came to Lunaris. That is, I came to stay in Lunaris. After a disagreement with my sire, my father.
His eyes flicker around the room almost nervously, and I find myself straining to detect any eavesdropping presence. But there is none. Omen seems to find the same thing because his shoulders droop again.
You know what I am. I suppose you've already guessed.
You're a good boy! He sighs.
People call him Lucifer, I think. The fallen divine. The Lord of Hells.
Okay, cool. Lucy's your daddy. Takes me a moment to process what he just said. Demon lore is plentiful and easily accessible when you're a hunter. Even in our early years at the academy, we pored over detailed logs of their fiendish hierarchies, favorite vices to exploit, patterns of their appearances, etc., etc. I would damn well hope I know who the Lord of Hells is. Oh, that's very nice. What is wrong with me? Omen's brown eyes widen, his jaw going slack in surprise. The glamour is something. Starting to wonder if he learned it from the witch behind the curtains. It is? Coughs.
It was sarcasm, wasn't it?
100%, my friend. Yes.
That was not sarcasm.
Ah, we're doing so well. No, it was not. Something else also hits me. Our sire? Oh! Is that who's in the next room? Well done. Does your father know that you're here? In the mortal realm? Can he find you? Terrible thought crosses my mind. The burned bodies, the hunters targeted. Ooh, oh shit. Yeah, okay. I'm also starting to put this together, and none of that sounds good. None of that sounds good. No. If only Lucifer never heard of him was a viable response. I know, right? The vehemence of his denial is startling. I quickly hold up my hands for peace, but Omen isn't paying attention. He's shaking his head vigorously, trembling.
No, that can't be him. Him or any of his minions. I would have known. I would have stopped them.
We have to explore everything, okay? His brown eyes are glowing with fire as he stares at me pleadingly, literally simmering flames. I can feel the fire in his core standing there, far enough away, and now I know where it comes from with the now that I know where it comes from, the familiarity makes sense. It's one hell of a secret to hold on to. And who is that in the back room then? One more colossal fact to add to the messy mountain of information I've been gathering since stepping foot into this mad town. What else is new by now? I believe you, Omen. Omen's shoulders droop in relief. The word droop has been used really frequently. Is it just me, or do we feel like the word droop has had quite a bit of use? Droop in relief, and I feel something tense inside me unclench as well. It needs not end badly. It will not. Besides, this case would have closed far faster for run-of-the-mill demons messing about. Yes, because Lucifer can be classified as a run-of-the-mill demon. Definitely. Omen closes his eyes and says something too quiet for me to hear. He then breathes in, breathes out, and slowly makes his way to the counter. He sets all the items in his arms down there with such deliberateness that I know he is doing so to calm his nerves. Something sneaks through still. I see a flicker of flame about his hair and intensity to his aura. But only briefly. The pressure fades as Omen raises his head. He doesn't look at me as he speaks.
I think I'll just head outside for some fresh air.
Okay. Are you sure? Omen smiles at me over his shoulder, the curve of his mouth
I
tense.
think it's for the best. I don't want her to see me like this, rattled and angry. She's my sister. She doesn't deserve it.
Hot demon sister. Anyways. Okay, that's fine. Can I go see your sister? Hear me out. Hear me out. Listen. I feel like that should not be surprising. He trails off, staring into the distance for a moment. He shakes his head and makes for the door, adding one last thing before he steps outside.
Say hello to her. I'm sure Elaine will find you quite lovely.
Listen! Listen! The game is agreeing with me. The game, this is just, I am just playing the game. The game is playing me, okay? I don't know. Listen, we're about to find out if his sister is hot. I'm hoping in all the ways. It's fine. Will you go and say hello to her? Yeah, okay. Heard you say this. Hello. I'm gonna guess you're the sister. Hi, darling. How are you doing? I'm fine, I swear. The second I lay my eyes on her, it's more than a little obvious that she is truly related to Omen. Maybe even his twin, unless the glamour is simply fooling me. Ezra has a poultice carefully pressed to her dainty hand, a pile of gauze covered in thick black ichor discarded upon the counter by his side. Now that's the first cousin twice removed, clearly. Right? Clearly much more distant. Hello. Her voice is disarmingly sweet, almost musical even. I smile at her politely, looking to Ezra for a little guidance. Elaine, this is Parker. Parker, this is Elaine. Omen's twin sister! Should have known. Ah, yes. I assume Ezra was just as unaware of her existence as I am, but he's polite enough to stay calm and focused, as friendly and as hospitable as ever. Somebody needs to remain calm. It sure as shit's not gonna be me. Let's go. Nice to meet you, Elaine. Oh, you too. Elaine narrows her eyes at me for a brief moment, shaking her head. She looks terrified. She addresses Ezra, but she certainly keeps her eyes on me, on my weapon. Where's Amaros? I look at Ezra, my confusion quite evident. Amaros? Ah, yes, that. Her face lights up when I say his name, but I gather that she doesn't fully understand my trepidation. I don't know if Amaros is, like, part of the Wonder Twins that we met earlier. I guess the other Wonder Twins? The brother and sister from the church? I don't remember their names. I don't remember anything. He's just outside. Oh, no, that's Omen then. Amaros is Omen's name, I guess. He's just outside. And you're all healed up, but I do think you should go and see your brother now. Okay, yes. Yes, I should. Ezra releases her, throwing me a sorry look over his shoulder as he turns to quickly dispose of the mess of medical supplies. It was lovely to meet you. Her demeanor is delightful, and I'm still slowly processing exactly what her brother just told me. Yes, you too. She glanced at me briefly before shyly averting her gaze, turning to meekly part the curtains that lead into the shop. That's who, okay, no, that's Amaros. Second she's gone, the pale figure bursts through the back door. He looks shocked to see me, but quickly recovers. Hey, okay. Wasn't totally losing it. Okay. So wait, what is her relation to you? What is going on? Why? Who is sleeping with who? Can somebody draw me a map? Why is it not me sleeping with Elaine? Let's be real here. Why have I not gotten a romance option there yet? Is she healed? She's fine and she's with her brother. I suggest you give them space for the time being. Ezra's words are final and somewhat stern, and Amaros quickly wilts under his vibrant green gaze, his eyes still lightly glowing from whatever magic he's just performed. Listen, all maps should lead to me, okay? That's how this works. At least in dating sims, okay? I don't really know how to unpack all this. Yeah, actually, friendo, we wanted to talk to you anyways. What happened to her, and why are you so desperate to be by her side? He stares longingly at the curtain, Elaine's quiet voice on the other side. Then I remember the note on the stoop of the Albac, the little heart. Oh, the love note. Ah, well, I'm courting her, you see. Fuck. We're together. She was attacked last night by it, the one that's been getting to your kind, I think. Ezra and I share a look. Do doing little to hide our shock. It, as in the creature. Amaros closes his eyes, sighing heavily, then he nods. Yes.
If you need to tell us something, we can help. Elaine didn't need to get hurt, so if you know where this thing is...
If you know literally anything about this thing, I would appreciate it. He looks at me, then back at Ezra, his throat bobbing as he swallows thickly. He's quite baffled with the idea of divulging any more information. Amaris, it's okay. You can trust us. We just want to help.
They're right. No one will know what you tell us. We just want people to be safe.
He sighs, his shoulders sinking in defeat. I just want her to be safe. We can see that you care for her a great deal, and we want that too. His ice blue eyes quickly flicker between each of us. It's the most animated I've seen him. Why are you being nice to me? My sister and I... He trails off, almost looking right through me. If you have information about the creature, we need to know. People are dying, and so I find it hard to hold your beliefs against you if you can offer assistance. Very well. Aurora's been sneaking out at night as of late. That's not exactly uncommon for her, but I believe she's doing more than satisfying her baser urges. Which would be what? Ezra looks away, covering a quiet cough with his hand. We don't have time to unpack all of that, but I'll store it away for later. What do you suspect? I suspect nothing. I know she's feeding it, or something at least. Feeding it. What is she feeding it? Did she just, like, throw a steak somewhere? What the hell? He seems unfazed, startlingly so. She may seem cruel and cold, but Aurora has a good heart. She cares for the creatures and makes sure that they're safe. Can I see Elaine now? Can you maybe just elaborate a little bit more on this first? Like, I am still confused, my friend. He shrugs, sighing again. It is what it is. I don't dictate to her what she can and cannot do. I find myself losing interest in our preachings. I just want to keep Elaine safe now. Ideally, we'd leave this wretched place for good, but her and Omen have only just reunited. Would she be so quick to leave him? Maybe not. I think it's best for both of you to stay here and lay low. I'm not sure why the creature attacked her, and it hasn't attacked anything inhuman so far. He looks at me, fixes my gaze with perfect confidence. How do you know? Very good point. Excellent point. Had not thought of that. Have not found body. Have no concern. You're right, I don't. I'd really like to leave now. You can leave, but I need you to promise me something. Go on. Watch Aurora, and the second you see her do anything out of the ordinary, you find me. I will ensure Elaine is safe, I swear to you, but your cooperation is essential. I see Ezra shifting nervously out of the corner of my eyes, but I stand my ground. Amaros continues to assess me. Fine. I will seek you out and I will watch my sister. Farewell, Hunter. Witch. Bye, Felicia.
That was interesting.
Yeah, that was. I anticipate some commotion from behind the curtain, but I hear nothing but silence. That's mildly unnerving. Interesting is putting it lightly. How are you anyway? I have a quick laugh because the question feels far too casual for the amount of information I've digested in the last forever. Tired, confused, the usual. Suppose you haven't done much to help that, have I?
I wanted to apologize for not being totally honest with you and for making your life a little harder than necessary. You already have so much on your plate.
Could you have just, like, told me, though? Like, come on, hear me out. Why secrecy? Why bother with this shit? He seems genuine, and aside from his odd behavior yesterday, I have no reason not to trust Ezra. I spoke to August last night, and Piper this morning. They know about the sash. Fear flashes across his features, but I quickly reassure him. It's fine. They're on our side. They want to help. Even Gus? Even good old Gus. I'm pretty sure they would actually loathe me, considering how often I call them Gus. But it is my new favorite name for them. It's not even a new name, but that's fine. Are you sure you're not magic? Because that seems like an impossible task. I do not know, because they were surprisingly calm. I shake my head profusely. No magic here. His smile grows and he seems to relax exponentially. It's nice to see. Then let's talk. He takes a deep breath.
The reason I was so hesitant to discuss Aya, or the Enforcers for that matter, is because I used to work for them.
What? What is that? You... Please elaborate. I don't think you were an enforcer. I think we're about to correct that.
Hell no. I went in and I assisted in the infirmary or morgue whenever they needed an extra pair of hands. Healers, good healers, are few and far between around here.
Sorry, it's the hell no. That was great. Just that immediate, oh my god, never.
It's what I always wanted to do, to apply my skills where most needed. Helping those who dedicate their lives to ensuring our safety was an honor. The murders began and I examined the first body. You can even call it that in the state that it was in.
I listened intently, taking all this in, a little perplexed, a little caught off guard.
Something shifted within the headquarters after that. They started treating me differently, called me in less. And then, when I was there, they kept me clear of any hunters. It became quite clear they didn't want me there any longer. Information was being kept from me, important notes about the victims I was supposed to be examining. The Aya incident happened, then another dead hunter turned up, and they revoked my access.
Yikes. What is with this place and just hiding all of the information? Like, communication is key. Communication is very key. Sharing is caring. Come on. Basic fundamentals here. They took away all my notes. Oh, that's mean. Notes? He nods, glancing at the kitchen counter. I think it is a hunter hunting the hunters. I think it's Harold, aka Harry, but I like calling him Harold because I don't like him. So I think it's Harold. I think he's partnered with somebody that is possibly doing the actual killing and he's just like helping hide it. It would be very awkward, but it also makes sense. I think it has some, I don't know. What if? So Aya got thrown in prison. Hello and welcome to Paranoia Parker, where we just go through whatever theories we have on a game at any given time. Okay, hear me out. What if? Gonna start theorizing as I like cross my legs on my seat. Okay, so hear me out. What if? Aya got thrown in the dungeon because treason. Treason was the reason. Harry signed off on that. Which means, what if something happened to Aya? And they needed to make sure that they were never found. Hence, putting them into that. They may have escaped. What if... Okay, because Aya was a hunter. What if, because we've got magical powers that I think, like, we're born with. But what do we know about those powers? Like, how much do we understand those powers? What if... Listen, I love my conspiracy theories. It's a weird love of mine. What if Aya lost it? What if, like, the powers that they have took over and made them unstable in some way, shape, or form, and they actually started to attack people? And Harold is protecting Aya. Hence putting them into the dungeons. However, Aya's clearly escaped. However, anybody that gets too close gets removed. I mean, Piper was really good friends with Aya. She got demoted. Ezra probably was getting closer to the truth, also got removed from the situation. Like, they keep removing people from the situation. And yeah, what if? Also, I think Gus had a relationship with Harold. Or somebody. With Ezra? Maybe with Ezra. Gus has had relations with somebody, and I don't remember who, but I remember being a sad story. Anyways, what if Aya is the monster, is killing other hunters because they now perceive themselves to be a creature? But they didn't want to, like, undermine the authority of the hunters, and therefore kept Aya's secret as much as possible. I still think Harold is behind everything. August have a thing. Okay, yeah. Okay, thank you. Yes, I'll take them. He opens one of the kitchen drawers, pulling out a pile of parchment. He then discards what looks like a fake wooden bottom. The notebook is nestled safely beneath it. Here. I tuck it away inside my jacket for later. So why were you so afraid to... Okay, apparently taking Ezra's nose is a big choice. I was, of course, going to take them. You did nothing wrong. You were helping people. He offers me a sorry gaze, his brow furrowed, his fingers curled into fists at his side.
They don't like people talking about it, about the deaths. Many of us have our suspicions now, and they know. I think they'd do anything to keep what's happening quiet.
What do they know? Like not telling me who the latest victim is? Exactly. I wasn't even sure I could trust Gus, but I wanted to so badly that I pushed my apprehension aside. You're right to trust them. They're on our side. They're scared too. Oh, Gus, I just want this all to be over. What are we going to do? I smile and Ezra's expression lights up. You have a plan? I have a plan. My plan is still to romance everybody in this town. I look deep into his eyes, hoping I can wash away some of the weight that he carries. The toll this has taken on him is obvious. I can't do this without you, Ezra. I need you. Anything you need. I trust you. I smile, taking his hand when he offers it, and he squeezes mine tightly. Together. Together. Piper and I are going into the dungeons to see if we can locate Aya. If we can talk to her, I think we might have a start. Everything leads back to when she was arrested, as far as I can tell. How on earth are you going to get down there without being caught? Oh, this is where we need your help, my friend. It's going to involve you and August working together. Does Gus know about this little plan of yours? Gus doesn't need to know until they need to know. Partially.
You're lucky I trust you. And I'm here for you. Just tell me when and where.
Sounds like great shenanigans, and I'm 100% here for it. Thank you, Ezra. Now, how can I find Finn? Why, a secret passageway, of course. You're in the right place. We just yell down to the secret door. He bends down, kicking aside a colorful rug to reveal the hidden hatch. It creaks loudly when he opens it, a gust of cold, stale wind rising from its depths.
Walk for about 10 minutes, and then when you see candlelight, it's the third door on the left. Don't be alarmed.
Secret tunnel!
Across. They're all friendly.
Secret tunnel! Yeah. All I remember is secret tunnel, but I understand. I know that reference. We're good. Yeah. Nope, we're good. I nod, taking a deep breath. I lower myself into the hatch, gazing up at him with a smile. See you around. Whee! Underground we go. The incessant drip, drip, drip of water guides me toward the darkness. The stench of damp decay fills my nostrils as I sink deeper into the corridors of the catacombs. The pitch-black path is long and winding. The only sound I can hear is the tap of my boots on the wet stone. Eventually, I see candlelight flickering around, and it would appear that I finally found life. Well, on life. I remember to look for the third door on the left, just as Ezra instructed, but as I approach, I find it wide open. You get to see Finn's room. This is great. I peek inside. The stark contrast between the literal tomb outside and what I find is most definitely Finn's quarters is astounding. Before I get the chance to take in the view, a cool breeze rushes past me, ruffling my hair, sending goose flesh prickles down my skin. Hi! This is a great day for Parker. First we met demon sister Elaine, and now there's you. Hi, darling. How are you? How friendly are you? I don't entirely care. It's fine. This is how I die. For the record, this is 100% how I die. Small, darkly clad girl appears before me in a flash, her eyes the brightest crimson as they bore into me. She stands with her head tilted, a toothy grin crossing lips. Are you lost, human? She stares me down wide-eyed and quite clearly trying to intimidate me, but she seems playful. Listen, there are worse ways to go. I don't have any complaints about this. I'm here to see Finn. She relaxes at the sound of his name. Her striking gaze sweeps over me like a caress. She shrugs, pursing her lips. So you're the one he won't shut up about, huh? Oh, you do smell good, I guess. Smell good? Is Finn here? She licks a fang. I notice how some of her more human quirks are. How similar some of her more human quirks are to his. She's far less poised than him, but I almost feel like that may be on purpose. I'm in Finn's territory here, neutral territory, so I quell the desire to be defensive, even though her eyes are the color of a creature who drinks human blood. He's somewhere here, around, doing stuff. So specific. Her smile widens as she turns to poke at a crystal decanter of whiskey that sits nestled in the corner of one of his many bookshelves. Are you part of the clan? A quick nod, almost too quick to catch. I am. She pours the rich amber liquid into a glass, swirls it, sniffs it with a dramatic grimace, and sets it aside untouched. Her nose is still crinkled in barely disguised disgust when she looks at me again. I wish that thing you're looking for would stop killing hunters, you know. 'Cause that means more of your type will come. Then more enforcers, which is the last thing we need in this shitty town. I hear footsteps, loud ones that echo off the stonework in the hallway. Catsy, is that a deep enough V? I mean, yes, there are still 3 buttons, but at the same time, is that deep enough for you, babe? I suspect he knew I was here, but his shock is charming nonetheless. He looks at the girl, who throws him a decidedly wicked, wolfish grin, the picture of innocence.
Raven, are you being nice?
Hi, Raven. Raven shrugs, sidling up to him and resting her head on his shoulder. She rolls his eyes. I like that you're answering for her. You're not wrong. There is no belly button. So I will give you that. Hold up, we need to process this for 2 seconds. Yes, Dad? So you're telling me I've been dating a DILF? That is not what I expected out of this. But, similar to Dream Daddy, guess what? Abandoning the dad for the daughter. Let's go. I don't know. Listen. I got nothing, okay? Keeping it in the family. Yeah, okay, that's exactly what I'm doing. Finn's face drops, his eyes narrowed. I get the impression that if he could blush, his cheeks would be the prettiest shade of pink right now. I stifle a laugh with obvious delight. Raven notices. Raven? Really? Also, you named your daughter Raven? She laughs, the sound loud and obnoxious, but somehow still charming. She shoves him playfully, but Finn remains stern. I'm assuming you're actually her sire in this case, and she's just calling you daddy because it's funny. And therefore you did not actually choose to name her Raven. Are you going to introduce me to your friends? The suggestive waggle of her eyebrows does not go unnoticed, and Finn sighs heavily, offering me an apologetic smile. Parker, this is Raven. She's my... I'm his kid. There's a low, exasperated rumble of a warning in Finn's throat, and I find myself enjoying the way he bristles in her presence. Finn throws her a death glare, and she proceeds to look guilty, but only just a little. He raises a single dark brow at her, and after a quiet scoff, she enthusiastically steps forward and offers me her hand. It's really nice to meet you. Sky hasn't stopped gushing about you, so thanks for giving him something new to mope over.
Do not mope.
Raven rolls her eyes, and I finally take her hand. Her grip is firm, and I wonder if she might be trying to unnerve me with in her startling eyes widen exponentially. Hurt him and I'll eat you, got it? I open my mouth to respond, and before I get the chance, she's laughing again. Finn looks mortified, and he carefully pries her hand from mine and ushers her towards the door. It's time for you to go, I think. Raven pouts, raising both her hands in defense. I was joking, obviously. I like them already. She offers me a little wave and rises onto her tippy toes to press a kiss to Finn's cheek. He looks at her with unabashed fondness, small smile creeping onto his lips. Go, say hello to Lux for me and be good. He runs his hand over her shorn scalp, there we go, and swats at him playfully, scoffing much like a teenager would at an embarrassing parent. I'll do more than say hello. Bye, Parker. Good to know. Good to know. He gives another disapproving... I don't know. I like them. It's fine. It's fine. Finn almost... right? Basically. Oh, I'm here for it. This is fantastic. Gives another disapproving rumble, and Finn almost looks like he wants to chase her to administer another pep talk, but stops himself. And with that, she's gone, the door slamming loudly and shaking in its frame. Finn groans, running an iron hand over his face as he walks to grab the whiskey Raven had poured him. She's interesting, you're... He sips his drink.
A pain in the ass is what she is. But I suppose she's my pain in the ass.
Yeah, that does tend to be how it works.
I sired her, so she's my responsibility. She jokes about me being her father, but I suppose I am, in a way.
He takes a small sip of whiskey, savoring the taste for a moment before he speaks. Though I prefer brother. Father just makes me sound so old. Yes, old. She tends to look after me much more than I look after her. She's a good kid. Be lost without her. I nod, observing him quietly as he sets down his glass. Sire bonds are powerful, and it's interesting to observe such a casual, healthy dynamic. Did you choose to turn her? He frowns, shaking his head. Well, no, not exactly.
It's complicated, but I made a choice that I'll have to live with forever. Literally. I'd seen too many die at the hand of my sire. Something about her struck me. He planned to leave her for dead. I couldn't let that happen.
He smiles, and it's painfully earnest.
Kindred spirits, I guess. As much as I have regret for cursing her with immortality, she's the closest thing I have to a family. Now, what brings you to my neck of the underworld?
Yeah, which is, it sounds like he was gonna die. She was gonna die at the hands of his sire too, because that guy seems like a dick. He leans back against his desk. Listen, we romance all options in this household. I need you. He raises his scarred brow as dark hair falls. I really should add more context when I say that. There was none provided. It was just a straight up I need you. That is going to be misconstrued real fast. He raises his scarred brow, his dark hair falling in his face as he turns to set aside his drink. You do, huh? His smile has me rolling my eyes, and I quickly try to distract myself. Here we go. Let me rephrase that. I need your help. I have a plan, and I think you may be of use. He laughs a raspy chuckle.
I'm all yours, Hunter. Do with me as you please. Just tell me where and when.
That's a very open invitation, friend. I clear my throat, the double entendre making my skin feel hot. He smiles, and I just know the bastard can hear the unsteady fluttering of my pulse. Piper and I are going to attempt to break into the dungeons beneath HQ. His pointy ears flicker, almost flattening against his head before they put themselves to rights. He can't seem to mask his surprise, nor apparently his interest. The dungeons, huh? He whistles, scuffing his boot across the stone floor. I can help you, but I may have a favor of my own to ask you if you're bold enough to venture down there. I narrow my eyes at him, contemplating if I want to tangle myself into yet another web. Listen! In for a penny, in for a pound. Fuck it at this point. What is it? He pushes away from the desk, standing tall.
An important member of my clan has gone missing, and I'm positive that they have him. As I'm sure you know, any trust for the enforcers is wavering. I want my friend back. He's done nothing to warrant being thrown in a dungeon.
Jailbreak! 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 We're gonna commit so many crimes! I'm so excited! Sorry, we're good. Parker, what's wrong with you? Anyways, crime time, be gay, do crime, let's go! His hands ball into fists at his side, his prosthetic flaring brightly before it fades into his usual dormant, dull glow. How do you know that they have him? I don't. They've... Shh! Yeah, I'm about to break a bunch of rules, it's fine. They have excellent defense system that prevents any of us from detecting him, no matter how close we manage to get. He would not just abandon us. He's either detained or dead, and if it's the latter, I just want to know. You sure he wouldn't just leave? Your clan isn't like others. Maybe he wanted to change? He looks frustrated. He runs his fingers through his hair, leaving it messy.
Fiero wouldn't just leave. I know he wouldn't. I trust him more than anyone else in my clan, even Raven. We both suffered at the hands of Levi for centuries. We were healing from that together.
Cool. Cool.
He was the only friend I had when I was with Levi. And he saved me more than once.
What I'm hearing is you've gotten your ass saved quite a few times. By others.
If he's ash and bone in a forest somewhere, then so be it. But if he's okay, then I must save him. The only family creatures like me have are the ones that you find, so I intend to keep them safe as long as I can.
Oh, yeah, well, you know what? Fair point. By doing stupid stuff. Finn is not the brightest bulb, is what we're figuring. Okay, the information on Finn's sire is sparse outside the fact that he was notorious and cruel, and I wonder how such a seemingly kind man could have followed him for that long. Probably because he had to. Do you mind talking about him? About Levi? Finn grimaces, folding his arms across his broad chest. His posture loses its usual confidence. I suppose. I take a seat upon his bed and pull as he pulls out his desk chair. First thing I can think to ask him is loaded, but I need to understand. Why did you stay with him for so long? He looks at me wide-eyed for a beat before he manages to formulate a response.
I don't know if I can answer that. I still truly do not know. He was good at making sure you had nothing left to go home to. So he was all that I had. I'm not the kind of man who does well with loneliness.
Fair. A wry smile crosses his lips, but Finn looks impossibly sad. What did he take from you? His arm, probably! He swallows thickly, casting his gaze to the side.
Everything. He took my fiancé, killed him right in front of me before he took my own life. I was an orphan. I didn't exactly have many friends. Gabriel was truly all I had. He destroyed our home, all of our memories, even took my name from me. He took it all. Did everything to make sure that I needed him. I followed him like a lost puppy for centuries.
Well, that's unfortunate. Did you ever try to escape when you found the others?
Many times. I had a few periods of freedom, but he always found me. He tended to collect vampires with abilities like Fiero and myself. Maybe to make up for the fact that, aside from his advanced age, he was truly unremarkable.
And now he's dead and you're free. You seem to be managing well for someone who's endured all of that. He sighs, rubbing the back of his neck with his iron hand.
Trying to shape myself into the man I always wanted to be. Before the whole being undead thing. I try not to dwell on things that happened to me. I was bitter for long enough, but I cannot change any of it. All I can do is be the opposite of what he wanted me to be.
I mean, good way to go. I smile as I observe him. I register how comfortable I feel in his home. The thought of stepping into the den of a clan before all this would have set me on edge, but now... You're doing a great job, then. His mouth curls into an earnest grin. Thank you. I give you permission to kick my ass if I ever dare to step outside of line. Duly noted. So the problem is my brain... So Fiyero... I'm a fan of Wicked. And that is the name of the main, like, the dude, effectively. The love interest within Wicked. And so my brain is just, like, screaming that in my head right now. Why do you think they would take Fiyero specifically, if you're so sure he's innocent? He shrugs, clearly quite confident in his theory. Because he's valuable. He's an empath, a powerful one. If he saw something he wasn't supposed to... Or even if they just managed to overpower him and get him alone, I rarely let my clan members patrol by themselves, regardless of our supposedly stable relationship with the enforcers of this town. See, I think this is Harold. Harold has kidnapped him. But I was stupid, and Fiyero is such a good sweet talker. He sensed someone who was in distress in the woods, so I allowed it. Therefore, if anything has happened to him, it's my fault. Finn prides itself on being the opposite of his sire, and I can see that this is eating away at him. You can't place the blame on yourself if you didn't know. Plus, if he is... as valuable as he say he is. His eyes light up when they meet mine, his fingers twitching upon the surface of the desk. Then they could be using him so he's still alive. I smile in return, tilting my head this way and that. Well, ish. He laughs, but I can't help but join him. So you'll check for me? Yeah, of course. I will. So what is it that you'd like me to do exactly? Well, no one knows this town quite like you. I was hoping you'd have some secret passageway tucked around for me to use. There are wards and other nasty little tricks in place to stop people like you, like us, from getting in. I'll worry about that part, but I just need to know the passageway. His grin is wicked, and I think I have my answer. I'm your guy. Say when and I'll be there. If you need anything else, just come running. I bid Finn farewell. Now I only need to find one more friend. I saved the most stubborn till last. Is that Alcar? Feel like it's Alcar. It is Alcar! Alcar is waiting for me when I return to the wolf. This doesn't surprise me anymore. When I catch his eye across the tavern, he's been nursing a mug of ale, clearly pouting. That pout disappears when he sees me surely counts for something. That the pout disappears when he sees me surely counts for something. Though the way his lips thin instantly makes me think perhaps not. He gets up, movement slow and deliberate, and I remain by the door for a moment, wondering if, hilariously, he's somehow trying to not scare me.
Took you long enough. Was wondering if the bad shit got to you.
No. Alcar grins suddenly, eyes gleaming and brow cocked. Or maybe the vampire got you, huh? Do you need something? Yes, actually. Alcar rubs the back of his neck and gives me a critical once-over. Frown deepening, he glances from behind his shoulder at the sparsely populated tavern. The 3 or 4 people lounging seem deeply engaged with their own conversation, but I nod in understanding. My room? Alcar barks a short, scornful laugh.
Superior can come knocking on the door and catch us? Not a chance.
Then you give me somewhere to go. Are you saying I'm trying to ambush you? He frowns at me, his tail flicking and then going still. His voice is low and steady when he answers. No, I'm not saying that, but I'm not keen on taking chances right now. Tell me you agree. As much as I loathe to abandon the promise of a horizontal, not a bare rock surface to lie down on, I close my eyes, try to process the day. He's right. If Alcar has any more information, any more at all, I want to hear it. I need to hear it. Alright, then where? The woods. Well, that's gonna go great for me. What could possibly go wrong? Deep dark woods where I stumbled across a nasty youngling no more than a day ago? Alcar rolls his eyes.
You prefer the graveyard where those damn Woodridge twins can probably hear every word we say? Not all of the woods are dangerous. I would know. I live there. Now, I ask that you trust me.
Okay, fine. Yeah, sure. I incline my head in understanding and step aside, inviting him to take his leave through the door first. Alcar doesn't move immediately. He stays where he is, his arms crossed, and he regards me with a strange expression. It's not unreadable, but almost as though he doesn't quite know what expression he should be making. Something the matter? You're an untrusting motherfucker, aren't you? Yeah, it's a problem. You and your friends in this lovely little town aren't giving me a lot of choices. I expect another eye roll, a scoff, a dismissive wave. Instead, Alcar inclines his head, and there's something almost like guilt in his grimace. Let's go. Lunaris is a cold and lonely shell of its daylight form tonight, and I almost have to run to keep up with how quickly, though sure-footedly, Alcar moves through the back alleys. The chill sinks into my bones, and unbidden, I wish I wasn't here. I wish I wasn't following a half-werewolf into the dark unknown towards more mystery, because again, what could possibly go wrong? Everything. Guilt because he's... Oh, God. If he's actually the one setting an ambush, I will probably rage quit. Did you know that Omen is... Alcar shakes his head, his wolf ears flattening. Not here. Let's just get to the woods and then we can talk. Another turn, we've stepped beyond our town's boundary. Trees loom above us, moonlight flooding through the bare branches to afford us some light. Alcar leads me a little further until the roofs of the houses are barely visible, then turns to me.
A little while ago, I got into a fight with one of your hunters.
He jerks his chin towards the town.
Well, not one of yours exactly, I suppose, since you just got here and all, but one of theirs. Some bloke. Don't even remember his face all that well. I was...
Alcar pauses for a moment and, rubbing at his chin almost nervously, his eyes narrowed. Then he shakes himself of it and continues.
It was during a full moon. I had an argument with my sister. Didn't go well.
He grimaces at the memory.
And when I transform, especially if I'm upset, my control isn't as good as it could be. But I know I didn't kill him. Would have damn well remembered that. If you ripped a man apart with your own claws and teeth. But when I came to, he knocked me out, I guess. You hunters and your annoying little gadgets. Your enforcer friends were already swarming over us like hornets. But there was no blood. Not mine. Not his.
What does this have to do with anything? It doesn't mean you didn't hurt him. Alcar gives me a look.
Okay, smartass. The point is that he vanished. Poof.
Have a good night, Alex. Thank you.
Dragged me off to their
I'll talk to you later, friend.
And kept me there for fuck knows how long. A week, I think. Maybe more.
Love you, bye!
And then they just poked and prodded me a bit. Then they let me go. Felt like they wanted to do more. Like they had plans for me.
Okay, so that's why Alcar is important, because he's at least been in the dungeons then. Hi, Jen! It's all good. You can lurk away. This is a pretty good game for that sort of stuff.
It was too dangerous to just snuff me, I guess. I know too many people. Ezra, Finn. But here's a question for you. What do you do when a creature hurts a hunter so bad he apparently isn't walking around anymore?
No idea. I press my lips together. Nothing pleasant, I know that much, assuming the creature in question was allowed to escape with their life at all. No, we're not. Although we'll probably only play this for a little bit longer, because I think I'm going to save the dungeon crawling escapades for tomorrow. Because we'll be back tomorrow. Sometimes they are let go. Marks that aren't too delicately tied to the order of things are free to be freely snuffed, as Alcar so elegantly put it. But surely if he wounded a hunter so terribly, he would still have been in the dungeons. Perhaps Finn or Ezra parlayed for your release. But Alcar is shaking his head.
They didn't. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you hunters don't get retirement leave till you can't walk on two legs anymore. And even then...
Well, there are always prosthetics. Oh, no. That's fair. That's fair. Alcar barks a sharp, bitter laugh and shakes his head, but neither he nor I find humor in it. I know. He's quiet for a moment, running his hand through his hair, messing with his clothes, fidgeting, nervous. I step back a pace to let him collect himself. No use pushing for anything now. Not when he's already so open with telling me everything he knows. I didn't kill that hunter. I didn't. I wouldn't forget something like that, and enough to never do it by accident. Never. Alcar's frown is deep, but his words are quietly fierce as they are pleading. I believe you. The words are easy to say and easier still that they're true. I know rationally and instinctively that Alcar tells the truth. And I'll make them... Listen, it is Harold. Harold is behind all of this bullshit shenanigans. I don't trust him. Alcar stares at me in response. No clever words this time, just stares. Arms loose at his side, surprise evident on his face. He stares like he's never seen me before. Is something wrong? Huh? No, He looks away, scratching at his head. He then chuckles, sounding so disbelieving it almost hurts to hear, but at the same time so relieved. I have to wonder how many people didn't believe him, not just about this, but about other things too. Harold is the one getting... Listen! Harold is public enemy number 1, because yes, he keeps ruining the smoochies. He is in the way. And so he must die. Thanks. Alcar grins at me. It's a lot less awkward than I figured it would be. You're welcome. Tell me about your sister. I have another question. Were you aware that Omen comes from hell? Alcar frowns at me, then squints, then snorts. Of course, where else would it be coming from? The general store? He doesn't hear the sound of my teeth gnashing loudly as I hear it, but with the way his ears suddenly stand up and the cackle, I know he's seen something. I meant, did you know he's the son of the literal devil? Capital D. You're the one who didn't ask. You were giving me a chance to, as I recall.
And why exactly should I have told you? Oh, by the way, we've got a demon prince in town. He's easily spooked, but don't you worry about that because he's harmless. Like that would fly.
You're not wrong. He pauses for a moment to consider his own words, then shrugs. That was his secret to tell, and he didn't have anything to do with the mess that's been cropping up around here, including that fact. Besides, Ezra is the one who chose to offer him a place to stay. Same as he offered to help me, help Finn, help anyone who so much as looked as they needed it. Omen came to his door asking for aid. Why would he be different than any of us? Than you, who we took in that night too? Think of a few ways a hunter might be different from all those things. No, let's get off our fucking superiority complex here. Fuck it. No. God, my character's the worst. Omen has good, loyal friends in this town. I understand. Alcar inclines his head in acknowledgement, his eyes sharp. It's more force than I've ever seen from him. Good. He then chuckles and leans away, signifying the conversation is at an end. See you tomorrow. Where are you going off to so soon?
Back into my hovel before the big, handsome vampire comes to scold me about staying out in the cold. What else?
I love it. I love it. I'm here for it. And excuse my nosiness, but you look like you've seen some hell yourself, not just the Prince of Hell. I frown. My that obviously rattled. But now that it's been said, I do feel the building headache behind my eyes. See, and that's just it. I think the headaches make hunters go mad. Not just from the ghost of James alone, but from, well, everything. Alcar is staring at me again, tilting his head this way and that, and making a show out of squinting at me. Yeah, definitely look floored. Fit for bed. Well, then don't stray too far. I might need you tomorrow. I have a plan.
A plan, Well, don't worry too much. I'll be a stone's throw away, whether you like it or not.
When you need me, you need me. Until then, later. Okay, bye! Disappears into the tree line as sure-footed as ever, and once again I'm left alone in this goddamn forest. Begin to make my way back to the wolf, my mind reeling again as it always seems to be these days. Though I feel hopeful, my plan seems plausible. The team of this little misfit helpers I've managed to assemble more than capable of carrying it out alongside me. I think. I hope. I smile to myself, feeling a little lighter. Then, a rustle, something moving in the tree line a little too close to the edge of town for my liking. Let's wait. I stand my ground, quiet as I try to get a feel for what might be approaching. Can't get a read on its aura, but I know it's certainly not human. No, Jen, you're in the right place. Then it tumbles into view. Or lumbers into view. It's hunched over, misshapen, with long, gangly limbs that look out of place on its relatively normal-sized body. A single twisted horn grows out of its head, and I spot 3 eyes. A third seems new and underdeveloped. It melds crudely above the existing left socket. It's covered in patches of scraggly fur and scales in some places, and its skin is entirely burned off, an amalgamation of mismatched parts and pieces that look like they don't belong. The cloudy gaze meets mine. Merely looking at it gives me a headache. There's this weak demonic aura that makes my body beg for me to look away. Then something hits me. Something makes me hesitate to draw my weapon. A basically Stitch monster, yeah. I cannot place this feeling of complacency, of ease, nor can I fight it. Is this how my comrades were killed so easily? Does it have some kind of power over us that makes us freeze, become immobile? Or is it the dull ache of familiarity that settles in my gut that makes me pause? Should I have advanced? Did I miss a very crucial moment to save my life? This feeling that I shouldn't harm it, that it deserves empathy, mercy. It opens its crooked jaw, melted sinew and mottled skin, stretching and splitting to reveal a set of violent, jagged teeth. My body screams at me to fight, but my feet are firmly planted and stuck to the forest floor. My fingers don't move. My weapon is still frustratingly safe in its holster. It takes a purposeful step towards me with a low, rattling groan, its teeth bared. My heart races as I stare into its unfocused eyes, all three of them blinking out of sequence. There's a loud ringing in my ears, and I've never felt this before. My instincts are screaming, pulsing, dying for me to do something. Anything, and yet all I can apparently do is stare down my bitter end. Then, something washes over me. In a split second, I gain perfect, blinding clarity. Run. James. The creature takes another step and howls, a broken, blood-curdling screech. Run. I listen. Fuck. Oh! This is rude! This is rude! This is rude! We know how I feel! We know how I feel about choices! Okay, so we are... Friends, this is where we're gonna leave it for today because Parker doesn't want to make a decision today. I am not making this fucking choice. So help me. Abandoned stream, abandoned ship! I am going to be back tomorrow, same time, same channel. We will decide then, okay? Listen! Must stream my rules, bitches! We will make this decision tomorrow. We will deal with this at another time. Okay? Say what you want to pick now and then I'll start. I don't know which one I want to pick. What part of I am terrible at deciding this stuff is lost on everyone. Because let me tell you, I am not. I know. I am bad at this stuff. Okay. So, I'm not... Listen, I can't pick all of them, and that is a problem for me right now. So we have to get over that and choose. I don't want to. Anyways, we're going to end the stream there. I am going to come back tomorrow, and I'm hoping we can finish this game tomorrow. We shall see. Because I feel like we're hitting endgame. I feel like if I have to choose my romance, then we're probably hitting that point. So we're going to go send a raid over to the real John Downey. Oh my god. We're going to go send the raid over to John. We're going to go say hi to him. He's playing some Pokemon. So we're going to go say hi. Because what he's doing is trying to raise money to buy his wife a really nice gift, which is really cute. So if you're not following him, I recommend it. But have a good night. I will talk to you all soon. Much love. Rar. Rar means I love you in dinosaur. And have a wonderful evening, friends. Bye.